coming around this way. So here, so this is interesting. See, there's a line of hills here. And then the road cuts through the hills into the city. And it's interesting because the way these hills are, it creates an optical illusion to make this place seem bigger than it actually is. I'm going to drive back here a little bit, and then I'll show you what I mean, right? I might have to like go out to the side. So coming out here, and we're looking back towards the city. The hill blocks the bottom of the buildings. So when you look out that way, especially like if you look out that way, the city looks far away because you can't see the bottom of the buildings. So the line of hills blocking the view like that makes the city look further away than it actually is. If I come back here and I go back through and I drive through here, right? You look at that. Oh, it's so far away. It's over the horizon, right? It looks like it's over the horizon. But as we get closer, once we come through the gap, the city is really close. Right? It's actually much closer once you get over the, once you get past the hills. So by blocking off the bottom of the buildings, you can't see exactly how far away they are, and it looks like it's over there, like beyond the hills. But it turns out the hills themselves are not that big. Like the hills are tiny. They're small hills, and then once you get past it, the city is close. So it creates this optical illusion, right? It's a very cool trick, a very neat trick. By hiding the bottom of the buildings, it makes the Badlands look a lot bigger, and it makes the city look a lot further away. So it makes the whole game feel bigger, even though if you like look carefully, it's not actually. It's just an illusion. It's an optical illusion caused by the hill covering the bottom of the building. Very smart, extremely smart. Coming out here, this is right next to the city, but still counts as Badlands. There is a trailer park, although there's not really that many trailers. It looks more like a permanent setup at this point. Let me get off. Trailer park, it says. Trailer park. At the front we have a small gas station. Not sure if the gas station is still open. I mean, this is not open. A gas station out front, and then we have a small market. So this is interesting. There's a market, right? A market suggests that the people have a little bit of money. Obviously the market is not great. There's not luxury items for sale here. But there's enough money that they can buy and sell things to and from each other. So like there's a clothing store over there, there's a food store over there. So these people, they're poor, but they're not destitute, is what I'm saying. There is enough money for them to occasionally buy and sell things. So it's bad, but not abject poverty, right? And if we look at these buildings real quick, I mean, it looks like a prefabricated unit, doesn't it? The long rectangle is a giveaway sign because you can fit this on the back of a truck, as I keep saying. The shape of it fits on the truck, so it probably is a prefab building. The foundations look kind of solid though. Is it just sitting on the ground? Is it cast into the ground? Not too sure. And not all of these are prefab, so this is built in place, because this doesn't fit in the back of a truck. Not sure what this is, like a house? Or a sheet metal. There's like old broken down cars around here. You can sell this stuff for scrap, right? You don't have to just leave it lying here. So in a lot of this game, there's just stuff sitting around to suggest neglect and poverty. Like this, oh, like all these broken cars, poverty and neglect. But actually, since these people are so poor, you would sell that for scrap and get a few bucks out of it. You know what I mean? Like if you can find somebody to buy it off you for money, you would sell it for money if people are poor. So what I'm trying to say is there's a contradiction here between making this place look poor versus what poor people actually do. Like poor people don't live in dumps. They're not just because they're poor, it doesn't mean they're gonna tolerate a lot of rubbish in their homes. Because like poverty doesn't stop them from cleaning out their homes. You know what I mean? So some of the stuff, like the language of it, and it doesn't quite match the reality of it. I don't know, I just don't want you to get the wrong impression about poor people. Poor people tend to be really hardworking. And so like, they wouldn't just, like if they're unemployed especially, they don't have anything else to do with their day anyway. So they wouldn't just leave rubbish lying around, they would clean that up. Because what else do they have to do with their time, right? They don't have a job. So it's not like poor people are lazy. Like there's a difference between lazy and poor. I mean, okay, some poor people are also lazy, but no, not most of them are not. So leaving rubbish just lying around is lazy, and that's different from being poor. So the language here is not quite right. This one. I mean, all the buildings are kind of the same. Same idea, same style. The foundations look pretty solid though. See, unlike the other ones, it's not just a few concrete blocks. There's a whole slab that the whole thing is sitting on. Or is it just... wait a minute, no, it's just a sheet. No. Okay, I see what's going on. It is just concrete blocks inside, but they've put a sheet of plywood or something, or sheet metal, to cover the sides. Okay, I get it. Wait, no, but this is concrete. This is a concrete foundation. They're all slightly different. Not sure what to make of it. Yeah, so this one you see, okay, there you go. There's like a sheet of plywood or something. And then underneath there's the steel frame, and then there'll be the concrete blocks underneath there, right? So they're different. So this is a proper mobile, or like a transportable home. Those are just container homes. Right, same idea, you put it on the back of a truck and truck it away. That appears to be just sitting on the ground. It's probably a bad idea. So steel, you do need to protect steel from water and moisture. And the ground is moist. The ground has a lot of moisture. You would not bury steel foundations directly into the ground because it would rust a lot more quickly. What you would do is you would cast a concrete footing, maybe even cast the steel into the concrete, and so the concrete touches the ground and the steel touches the concrete, and that would protect it a bit more from the water, because otherwise that would rust a lot more quickly if it just goes directly into the ground like that. So that's not quite how foundations work there. Just something to keep in mind. This is a proper mobile home with wheels. Although the way it is now, you can't actually drive it out of here anymore, right? Can you still fit it through there? Maybe. It looks like it's been here for a long time. It doesn't look like it's gonna move anywhere anytime soon, right? Maybe you can take down these fences and drive it out this way. Coming around. This one is slightly diagonal. You see that, right? In fact, is that also slightly diagonal? Some of these buildings are... the foundations are not done very well. The ground looks a bit sandy, right? If it's sandy ground and you're just putting it on blocks, the blocks will sink into the ground and your building will start to lean a little bit. Yeah, no, the foundations are not great here. This house is gonna fall over at some point. slightly disastrous. But that adds to the whole sense of poverty, right? It's like they live in diagonal houses. Like things are, I think it makes things look worse, even subtly. Like even if you're not looking closely, your brain will register the fact that it's not right, the fact that everything's leaning. So you look at it and say, well, something's going wrong here, obviously. Even if you don't consciously
Come on, don't keep me waiting. Make your move.
pay attention to it, you will get the sense that like things are not right in this place. Another mobile home. Okay, so these are all pretty much the same. Keep out private property, but it's just trash. Private property. Ah, yes, your property. Interesting. Another slightly diagonal structure. Oh, that one's very diagonal. Look at that. That's very noticeable, right? It's definitely leaning. Oh, that's interesting. There's like a proper house here. Proper house, proper foundations. Somebody built this? Alright. This guy's got money. This guy is ballin'. We have a water tower back there. And we do have power connections, look at that. So it does make sense that this trailer park is here. Because there is water and power, right? At the back corner, we do have a little bit of a story location. So one of the story characters live here. And so we can go inside his house. There are 2 units out the front. There's this thing. Looks like another prefabricated structure. The foundations are covered with a sheet metal. So they did a bit of work there. So we can see inside the unit, right? On one side, dining. A bit of a kitchen. No sink on the inside in the kitchen. Interesting. Because like these, again, these things, they might not have water connections. Because like, where would the plumbing go, right? If it's something you can pick up and move around, how would you connect the water? It does have a bathroom with a shower, so there is water. Oh, there's pipes there. And there's a toilet there. So where does the poop go? Is there a sewer connection underneath? I'm not sure the game really talks about this or thinks about this. But that's the sort of thing you would think about, right? So 1 bedroom with a... Is that like a wardrobe, bathroom, kitchen? Alright, so it's basically a 1-room unit, prefabricated. There's no water tank above. So you might have like a header tank, so that the water can flow down easily, and so then your showers and your sinks will have flowing water. Although there's that there. So if there's a water tank there, a water tower there, we just need a water connection, and that's fine. So the only question left is where's the sewer connection, who knows? But it's mostly there. Look, they've even set up a little deck around the outside. Nice. So that's the secondary house. The main house looks like a proper house. Or is it multiple units joined together? Let me check. Alright. This looks like a prefabricated unit. Ah, right, look at that. So maybe this is 2 prefabricated units joined together in the middle. Which gives you a bigger house, obviously, than just one of them. Let's check the inside. What is that stuff there? Is that communications? It can't be solar panels. That doesn't work as solar panels. So the two units, look at that, there's one half there, one half there. And then in between them, there's the wall between the two units. Oh, look at that. So one unit has a dining on one side, bathroom, dining, bathroom, and then one bedroom here. And look at that. So the two boxes, the wall between the two boxes is still there, except here where they removed one bit to join the two sides together. So that's one unit, and this is the other unit. The other unit has a larger kitchen at the back. And we have another bedroom, two beds in there. And then another bedroom here. Nice, so they have a 3-bedroom house made from 2 of these prefabricated units that they've put side by side. Very cool. I mean, there's no seam here though, not sure what to make of that. Maybe they put some flooring down. Because if it's 2 containers, you would expect there to be a seam here, right? But maybe they just like put some flooring in? Well, I mean, there's the seam in the ceiling, look at that. There's the seam in the ceiling? Yeah, I guess they just covered the floor with something. What is this? Is that carpet? That's not carpet, is it? What is that? Something. Alright, very cool. It's not, again, it's not luxurious, but it's a decent house. It's a 3-bedroom house. And although, okay, they live in a trailer park, it seems kind of bad. There's no grass, the kids are playing in the dirt. But we are relatively close to the city, right? There's like a little market out front. They have a decent-sized house. They're close enough to the city that you can commute to work. If you have a car or something, you can commute to work. So it's bad, but it's not terrible. Like, it's not unlivable, this place. I mean, you wouldn't want to be here, but if you had to be here, you could survive out here. Let's move on. Going back past the hills, back out into the Badlands. So this road, this highway, this one, it goes west inland. So we're on the, no, east. It goes east inland. So we're on the west coast of the United States, right? So that goes into the inland of the United States. In the past, this would have been another major trade route. So the trade route to the south, to South California, and this would go inland to the states of the new United States. In the past. These days, because the new United States is no longer friendly with North California, I don't think much trade goes through here anymore. And so there was a major upgrade on this road before the war broke out, and then the war it was ongoing. There was an ongoing upgrade project on this highway going to the east, but the war broke out and all of that got cancelled. So as we come out onto this side, onto the eastern side of the Night City, we'll see a number of locations that were built with the intention of serving the major trade route that would join Night City with the inland United States. But obviously now that there's no trade route here, all those businesses either shut down or are doing something else now. So that's the backstory behind the stuff going on over this side. And the first thing we have is the Sunset Motel. No vacancy, yeah right, there's plenty of vacancy. The Sunset Motel, quite close to the city, but the motel would be like if you're traveling, if you're like maybe a trucker trucking through here and you need a rest break, you might come to the Sunset Motel to have a rest. or if you, I don't know, a tourist driving across the United States, you might come here to the motel to stay the night. At the moment, there shouldn't be any traffic on this highway, or not enough traffic to support a motel, but the motel still sees plenty of business. And the backstory the game tells us is that the Sunset Motel is far enough out of the city that the cops don't come out here. And so if people in the city want to do things that they don't want the cops to know about, they come out here to the Sunset Motel to do whatever business they have to do where the cops don't see them. So that's the backstory. So for some reason, the motel still sees plenty of business. Even though the trade route is shut down and no trade goes through here anymore. Just having a place outside the jurisdiction of Night City Police Department means that this motel still gets enough business to do quite well, actually. Look at all these people. Ah, Night City. What a great place. There's a gas station over there. Convenient. Out here, by the way, there's a weapons dealer. So talking about business that the police would be interested in. So she's just selling black market weapons out the back of the motel, right? Let's take a look around. Plenty of rooms. Oh, like the Sunset Motel, and look at it. It's painted bright orange and bright blue, so like it's a blue sky with the orange sun. And look at that, so the color scheme. Ah, that's so cool. Look at that. Like somebody like really cared about this, you know? It's not just a bunch of sheds. Somebody built a bunch of sheds and then thought, that's a Sunset Motel. Let's paint this bright orange. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody cared enough to paint it bright orange. This place. I mean, it's still pretty run down. This is not exactly high-class living. And the people coming out here to do business aren't exactly legitimate business people. But you know, they need a place to stay, and this is a place to stay. Some of these people don't wear a lot of clothes. I'm not gonna elaborate.
Get the feeling this Grimes was really turning you on.
Ah, yes.
Bet you see worse things in the shiny city apartments.
And then we have an upstairs, more rooms. I don't remember if we can go into these rooms or not. Maybe not anymore.
This place just reminds me of days with my ex-wife.
Oh, look at that. We have like a seating area, outdoor seating area. And there's a bar back there. Enough people come out here for the bar to stay in business. Look at this place. It's surprisingly lively, you know what I mean? There's a surprising amount of business coming through this place. Like, it's basically on the edge of nowhere, right? Somehow on the edge of nowhere. This place is livelier than you might expect. Right, so that's the Sunset Motel. Look at these people. What are you doing out here? There's nothing out here. Some sort of illicit relationship? Coming out here with your mistress? Having an affair? Probably having an affair? Like, stuff like that. So that's the kind of business that the Sunset Motel is doing. As we continue forward, out on the horizon you can see some wind turbines. I don't actually know if the wind turbines are still providing power to the city. Maybe it is. I don't know how much. It doesn't seem to be very big cables here. I mean, there are some cables. You can see the cables there. Oh, there's a train, an old train line, and an old train cargo yard. So the trains don't run anymore, right? But once upon a time, the trains did run. Especially carrying cargo out east into mainland United States. But again, that trade is gone. Not sure why there's a cargo yard there. Usually a cargo yard, the cargo comes off the train and it goes somewhere, right? It goes to a factory, it goes to a shop, and then, or maybe like the cargo comes from the factory and then goes on the train. So the cargo yards serve something. And here there's no other buildings except for the motel, which I don't know why the motel would need cargo. So the cargo yard being here doesn't make too much sense. But again, it is a gameplay location, and they just needed a place, I guess. Coming out here, the old train line crossing the road. This seems extremely unsafe, because it is a busy highway, right? Further ahead, we have Dakota. Dakota is a garage. And I believe they serve the nomads. Dakota herself is a nomad, although she's permanently stationed at the garage. So we are providing repair services for the nomads' vehicles, I think is what's going on here. Looks quite new on the inside, actually. Like on the outside, I mean, there's a lot of trash in front. A lot of graffiti and looks kind of grungy. On the inside, clean, professional, high-tech. I think maybe the appearance on the outside is more camouflage than real, right? The nomads, they're not punks. They're actually like quite professional people. They know what they're doing. I mean, in here, it's a little bit like a high-tech factory, actually. Look how clean this place is. So yeah, no, this operation is professional. You just don't see it on the outside, but you do see it on the inside. What's going on here? Steel structure, steel column holding the roof. The walls are brick, though. So the brick walls don't hold up the roof, is what I mean. The roof is held up by the steel beams. Big skylights. Very nice. Hey, look at that. Right, once you get inside, surprisingly professional. What is this? A police truck? Or like a Militech truck? They stole this. The nomads do raid the megacorp convoys. So the megacorps, they would send convoys across the Badlands, doing whatever it is they do. And the nomads do not like the megacorps. They are enemies, in fact. It's so interesting, right? Like there's all sorts of graffiti and grime and rubbish on the outside, and then inside, super clean, super professional. Isn't that interesting? Very interesting. They're pretending to be messy, but they're not. They know exactly what they're doing. Right, they're pretending to be a disaster, but they're not. There's another side building here, not too much to say about it. Wind turbines? The turbines are not... like, that's not efficient, right? Okay, so turbine design. You know... oh, there you go. There's Militech and they're being attacked by... who are they being attacked by? Who are these guys? Wraiths. Okay, so the Wraith gang is attacking a Militech called... oh, hey! 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 They're attacking the Militech convoy. There you go. Do you mind? Alright, let's get behind this rock. So, about wind turbines, right? In our world, the wind turbines, the whole world has settled on this basic shape of like three airfoils, and it just spins, and that's it. And the reason we've settled on that is because it's efficient, right? The most amount of power extracted from the wind for the least amount of material. I mean, in the past there have been all sorts of different designs that have been tried, but none of them have been as efficient as the design we have now. And so as we look out into the wind farm out there, we have the 6 right? There's two sets of three, or there's three sets of two. And then over there we have the six, and then the circle around. So these will work. If the wind blows on it, they will turn, and you can use it to generate power. But you gotta understand that those shapes are not efficient. Not as efficient as the simple three-bladed design. I don't know why they chose to make the wind turbines look like this, because, you know, like anybody who understands aerodynamics will just tell you that this is like a really stupid way of making these turbines. It's just not efficient. Like, what are you doing? I don't know, maybe they just... I don't know what to make of it. Is it for structural reasons? Is it because there's so much, you know, there's people shooting each other out here, and so these things are more robust that way, maybe? If they get shot out, they still work? Maybe it's because... But you know, so having the ring around it would make the blades, it would make it sturdier, right? So it would be stronger and less prone to breakage. So there is, like, it's inefficient in terms of extracting energy from the wind, but there are other benefits to doing that. It's just I'm not sure it outweighs the inefficiencies. Or maybe there's like sandstorms out there. There are sandstorms out here from time to time. So maybe like to make the wind turbines more robust against sandstorms? I don't know. I'm just speculating, right? But at face value, those are not good turbines. Unless there's some other reason that we don't know about. Moving ahead, we arrive at Dollop of Sunshine. We don't want to go in there actually. Hold on, let me just stay out here. So there's another motel out here. Dollop of Sunshine. This is the Sunshine Motel, I believe. It has been taken over by Militech. Let me get off. So, you know, if this was a trade route, as we said, you would periodically have motels, so that truckers and other travelers have places to rest if they need to. I don't think like enough people come out here anymore for this motel to stay in business, but it has been taken over by Militech, and I think so. They've set up these containers back here. They've walled off this place around the back, and they've set up a little bit of a warehouse back there. So Militech is an American megacorp, and they have influence over in the new United States of America. So going out east, once we go across the border, we arrive in the new United States. So Militech actually has business out this way, right? So Arasaka is Japanese, they're out west. Militech is American, they're out east. So I guess the Militech, they send their convoys to and from Night City from the east. And I guess this is one of their staging posts, because they have business out this way. So there is a reason for Militech to be out here. And they've just taken over this hotel, or this motel. I guess the motel don't operate anymore. Or maybe Militech just rented all the rooms, right? Like a permanent contract to rent all the rooms at all times. No, I mean there's no windows here. I think the motel had been abandoned and they just took over. Not too much for us to say about the motel. There's offices down there, or like a reception down there, and then just a rectangle of rooms. A water tower too, that's interesting. Do I need to explain water towers? Alright, so when you turn on the tap, the water just comes out, right? Why does the water just comes out? Water flows down because of gravity. So in order for the water to just come out of your tap, the water has to come from a higher place because it flows downhill, right? And the water tower, the point of the water tower is you pump the water out up there so that when you turn on the tap, the water flows down from the water tower through the pipes and out your tap. So in order to have flowing water, the water has to flow down from above. So that's why you move the water above you and put it on the tower. So there's a tank of water at the top of the tower. That's why there's a water tower, in case you didn't know. Oh, and I guess I should probably explain as well. Earlier we talked about how motels, the motel that was converted into a makeshift field hospital, that was clever because you had rooms. Motels are also very good for converting into makeshift barracks. Again, because you have rooms and beds, and each of the room has like showers and a sink and toilets. And so, you know, you put a few soldiers in each room and there you go, there's your barracks. You don't have to rebuild anything. All the facilities are already there. So you can like reuse all the facilities in a very efficient way to convert into a military facility. So again, very smart for the military guys to take over a motel. I'm a little bit lost. Okay, let me check the map. We want to go there. Okay, we need to turn around, I guess. Where should we go? There's nothing else out there for us. Let me like go there and then drive back, I guess. And we want to get to here. This way, right? Hold up. What is that? There's rocks here. Are these special rocks? Big rock. Is this a real place? Hold on, is this a real location? A big rock? This is a tourist destination? Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna look this up. Hold on. Wait a minute. Are you telling me Big Rock, California? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. It's an actual place. Alright, look at this. I didn't know this. Giant Rock, in the Mojave Desert, California. It's a real place. It's literally a big rock. There you go. Wow, it's a big rock. Okay, jokes aside, the point is that you're in a desert, and then in the middle of the flat desert, there's a big rock. And so it becomes a landmark, right? Just because it's a big rock in the desert. Hey, somebody broke it. Somebody broke the big rock. What is the story of the cracked rock? Giant Rock is the largest freestanding boulder in North America and is purported to be the largest freestanding boulder in the world. Is it really? Is it really the biggest rock in the world? And what does freestanding mean anyway? What qualifies as freestanding? It's the biggest rock in North America, you guys. Wow. Alright, we should take a photo. Do we know anything about why it's cracked? Oh, hey look. In early 2000, giant rock fractured in two, revealing an interior of white granite. The exterior surface of the rock is partially covered in graffiti. Oh, come on, dudes. So it cracked open in the year 2000. It must be sabotage. Somebody broke it, right? Somebody deliberately broke it. Look at this graffiti. Come on. Disrespectful. Alright, going back into the game. Year 2000. It's not the same though. This is not the same rock. The shape of it is different. But alright, cool. There's a bigger rock in the real world. It's not architecture, but it's fun, right? I am lost again. I forgot where I'm going. I'm going... okay, that way. There is a thing here. What is the thing? Oh, this... are they hostile? Oh, dead people. Alright, something's happened here. So Militech... hold on. Militech has done something here. I don't know what those buildings are. There's pipes, though. Why are there pipes out here? What are they piping? Some kind of monitoring station for these pipes? I don't know where these pipes go or what they do. Why pipes? Who pipes? There seems to be large... these pipes seem to go a long way. Oh, water? Is this water? This is water. Huh. And it's leaking, of course, the pipes. They're pumping water somewhere. Maybe there's underground aquifers here. Just not sure who's receiving the water. I mean, it is a desert, right? So, water would be valuable. Oh, right, the town, of course. This is the water supply for the town we're going to. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. It all makes sense now. Coming through. Nope, coming through. Wait. Am I in the wrong place? It's that way. I think. The sign has nothing on it. No, wrong way? Wrong way. I lost. Alright, I'm going this way? No, I think this is the right way. This big canyon over there? I don't know if we need to see it though. Well, I mean, since we're here, let's go see the canyon. Part of the history of Cyberpunk is that, Jeff's dirt track, interesting, is that there was a huge earthquake. You know, like, this is California, right? And we're always expecting the big earthquake to eventually hit. So in the story, in the history of Cyberpunk, inside the game world, the earthquake did hit, and it destroyed a lot of things. It destroyed Los Angeles. Partly the reason why Night City is so big, because of all the refugees. So Los Angeles was completely destroyed. Crazy, right? Over here we have a big canyon. Oh, look at that. Very dramatic. Also conveniently serves as the boundary of the game. Right? It stops you from trying to keep driving out in the middle of nowhere. The bridge is out too. I'm not sure what that means. Possibly the bridge was destroyed during the war, and then obviously they never rebuilt it because nobody wants to go across here anymore. But yeah, basically there's no connections left. Oh, there's hardly any connections left between Night City and out east. Coming through here, we have Rocky Ridge. Rocky Ridge, a town. At one point it had over 6,000 people in it. The story behind Rocky Ridge is that it was a company town of road workers. These people and their families, these people were here to work on the highway. Remember how I talked about they were upgrading the highway to join Night City with the NUSA out east? So before the war, the plan was to build a highway, and this was the town where the workers and their families stayed while they were working on the highway. When the war broke out, all the jobs disappeared because the only job really was the highway, and then everybody left because there's no work here anymore. And so the whole place was very quickly abandoned almost overnight, and so now nobody lives here anymore. That's the backstory. I mean, the plan, I guess the plan was like they would build the road, and then after the road was built, maybe some of them can stay and continue. I mean, because if there's traffic, there's business, right? Maybe they can have a business for people traveling to and from Night City out east, but none of that panned out, and now everything is abandoned. If you look at the street grid, especially on the map, the street grid is a very, very regular rectangle grid. And this kind of rectangular grid is very common in a planned city or a planned town. Planned, I mean like when you first design the town, you like set up a grid and you put the houses in. So a planned settlement versus an organically grown settlement, which is where people just decide for themselves where to go, right? If you just let people build houses wherever they want without a master plan, then you end up with a lot of irregular streets, because people usually don't draw straight lines on the ground. They just find a place and they build a house, find a place and they build a house. And if people just find their own place and build a house, then you end up with a lot of irregular streets. So whenever you see a strict grid like this, it's a planned city. And a great example is Manhattan, of course. Manhattan is famous for having a very, very strict grid throughout the entire island. And Manhattan obviously was a planned colony. Versus a city like Paris or even London, where you end up with irregular streets and then you have concentric growth. So you like, the city grows from the center outwards, and so then you have, every now and then you have concentric roads and then axes. So like when you have like a spider's web, like a number of circles joined by axes, that's like an organic city. Whereas if you have like a strict grid, that's a planned city. Doesn't have to be. You can plan irregular streets if you wanted to. It's just that people usually don't, right? I don't think anyone's ever managed to grow an organic city and have straight roads. It doesn't happen very often. Sometimes, like in Rome is interesting. So Rome, especially during the medieval era, people just did whatever they liked, and it became like a very messy city. And then afterwards, at one point, the Pope came in and he like demolished big avenues between the key landmarks. And so it's like, Rome is interesting and also complicated, because like there's like a complicated web of streets and then these like big avenues that just cut across everything. And that's because at one point one of the popes came in and tried to clean up the streets to make them easier to travel. So he put in like big avenues into the city. So like cities, like when you look at the street pattern, you can kind of read the history. Read the history of the city. So here, because everything is such a regular grid, you can tell it's a planned town. And beyond that, well, let me just park my bike somewhere. Alright, let me park my bike here. And beyond just looking at the rectangular street plan, if you look at the buildings, they're all the same, right? So again, if all the buildings are the same, then it's obviously the same group, the same corporation came in and built everything all at the same time. Because if you build things at different times, then they would look different. Some would be newer, some would be older. You know, they wouldn't all be the same like this. So when you look at the buildings, you look at the street, and you know, put them all together, and it's very clear that this is a planned town that was all built all at the same time. And you know, the backstory matches that. Like the story of the game matches what we see in the game, in the architecture, in that the company building the highway built this for all their workers. And once again, we have these prefabricated units sitting on concrete block foundations, right? Same idea. In fact, pretty much the same design, huh? And all the houses are like this, pretty much. All the same, just you get all these, bring all these in on the backs of the trucks, just put them down, and there you go. You have a whole city brought in on the back of trucks. Some of these are slightly different. We have a mobile home here, so that's slightly different. But most of them are the same, and then there are some service buildings. Like this one, what is that? Mark X24? So that's slightly different. Some sort of commercial building, I believe. But those are rare, the other ones are all the same. Homes. Prefabricated homes. What is that? Some sort of electricity thing? But even this one looks like it can fit on the back of a truck, right? Not sure what that is, some sort of mechanical thing. Going back to the town center, quote unquote, if you can call it that. At the town center, we have a gas station. Important because you can't get anywhere without cars. You're out in the middle of nowhere. A gas station on this side. And once again, it looks like it might still be operational. So in the game, again, part of the story, we know that the nomads and the wraiths, they all know about this place, and sometimes they come to visit. So maybe they use this place to repair, rest and repair? Possibly. I mean, there's electricity still, and the televisions are still running. Which is strange that the electricity is still running because, you know, the whole town is abandoned. More on that later. Opposite the street, from the bar, there is, I mean from the gas station, there is a bar in here. With arcades, with a pool table. A bar, the bar is stocked. Interesting. Again, like the whole town is abandoned, but the bar is still stocked. So the nomads and the wraiths who come here, presumably they can get drinks here. I'm not sure, maybe not all the houses are abandoned, right? Maybe like one or two of these houses are still occupied, and they keep the bar open when the nomads and all the wraiths come through and they get some drinks maybe. So maybe it's not all abandoned, but it's mostly abandoned. I mean, this looks like it's still in business, right? Even though there's no one at the bar. There's a hole in the floor. Interesting. And dangerous. Shouldn't you, like, put a sign here? Danger? Right, so that's the bar, and across the street... we have what used to be a shop, I think. So this building here, we can't go inside this one. That says, oh, it's booze, right? Liver Punch Booze. So this used to be an alcohol store. Like there's a bar and then there's an alcohol store. There's 2 places selling alcohol and then there's no other shops. Isn't that funny? One station, 1 place selling gas, 2 places selling alcohol, and then there's nothing else. All right, so that's Rocky Ridge. I do have some issues with it. So given that most of this is abandoned, why are there still houses here? Because remember that these things, you can put them on the back of a truck and drive them away, and they're worth some money. Why did the company, when the people left, why did the company not pick up all the buildings and take them away as well? Because they're worth money, right? And then like you have a lot of stuff here that's worth money. I don't know if the vending machines are worth money. You can probably like dismantle them, take the electronics inside. There's like wires. Wires are money, by the way. Wires are copper, and copper is money. So if you like go to an abandoned town, you wouldn't see any wires just hanging around because some scavengers would just come in and take all the wires. And then there's electronics like solar panels, satellite dishes, antennas. So like if this place really was abandoned, like solar panels, if this place really was abandoned, I would expect a bunch of scavengers to come in and just take everything just take everything. Even if it's bolted down, you just remove the bolts, take it away. And even like the whole building, you just take the whole buildings away because they can all be lifted up, put on the back of a truck, and driven away, right? So there's no logical reason why all this stuff is still here. Like if you're not familiar with, recycling or scavenging, if you're not familiar with recycling architecture, you might look at this, oh, it's just abandoned houses, I guess there's nothing here. No, if you know what you're looking at, there's a lot of money here. Like it's just money sitting around waiting for you to pick it up, is what I see. And you can just pick up all these houses and drive them away. So realistically, you wouldn't have an abandoned town like this. You would have some stuff left behind. Like you would have traces of where the buildings used to be, and some of these fences might still be here because the fences aren't worth enough money to take away, maybe. And this road will still be here and be overgrown. And like the road grid will still be here. But realistically, I think you would take all the buildings away. Like Night City, there's enough homeless people in Night City, enough poor people in Night City, that somebody would buy these houses. Even second-hand, they would buy these houses. Right. So that's what I want to say about this. And also, I guess if you ever find yourself in the scavenging business, take the wires, man. It's copper. It's copper. It's all pure copper. Take all the wires. Make some money. But don't tell them I told you that, because it's probably illegal to steal other people's wires. Don't steal other people's wires. It's illegal. Oh wait, we're not going this way. We're going that way. Going this way. Dirt road out into the middle of nowhere. All the way out to the middle of nowhere. Then Oh, what's that? It's a tower over there. What is that tower? Coming out here. Unmarked road. I mean, not even a road. Out to the tower. Oh, I missed the road. Ah. Out here, then we have a camp out here. So remember those nomads that I keep talking about? Here they are. The Aldecaldo nomads, they have a tank, by the way. This is part of the story too. You steal a tank for the Aldecaldos. Oh, it's a hover tank. So this thing floats on the ground. It doesn't sit on the ground. It floats. So it's a flying tank. Remember, there's anti-gravity technology. We have big flying barges. So you have big flying tanks. So remember at the beginning I talked about how in the world of Cyberpunk 2077, it's like 50 years in the future from our time. The architecture and the culture and the music is somehow really backwards. Even the cars are really backwards. But then any military technology is super futuristic and super high-tech. So this is one example of it. It's a hover tank. It's a tank that flies. So like any military technology is super futuristic because there's so many wars in this timeline. Whereas all the cultural stuff is stagnant, all the architecture is stagnant. All the architecture looks like it's from the 70s, and it looks like it's 100 years old. And then everything else looks futuristic, right? So the Aldecaldos, they're nomads, and they have set up camp here. So they travel in cars and trucks, and then they set up tents. Kind of like, you know, like nomads, Mongol nomads, or like Bedouin nomads, you know. In the real world, we have our own nomads. They move around, they travel to where the opportunities are, and then they live in tents. So they have their trucks. Is it a water truck? Maybe a fuel truck? And this is interesting. This is like a guard tower truck. Isn't that cool? Maybe they put all their weapons here. So you like when they're traveling, I guess they would put all their cargo back here. And then when they're not traveling, they take the cargo out. And it immediately becomes a guard tower. Oh, very clever. Look at that. Look at this truck. Super smart. Like they're using, and like when you're a nomad, you have a lot of stuff you need to carry with you, and you don't have that many transports, right? And so you need to be efficient. You need to be very efficient about how you use your resources. And so things like multi-purpose trucks that you can change to different tasks. Here with a big tent, and we have a mechanic station inside this tent. Very cool. So all the vehicle stuff is out in front. We have a little bit of security out in front.
Talk later then, I guess.
Immediately behind we have their central bonfire. So this is the social hub of the camp. To one side we have the dining. We have some tables out here, some tents. Oh, that's cool too, look at that. So these awnings, are they attached to the truck? Kind of. So those things fold up into the truck. Do these also fold up? Oh yeah, nice. So the side of the truck folds out, I think. And then inside there's kitchens. So you can like immediately start cooking. Wow, look at that. So it's on wheels, right? So the kitchens are on wheels. And you can just like roll up, open up, and there's your kitchen, start serving food. Very cool. We have water trucks back here. They've set up some showers. You're gonna shower in the open, you guys. No privacy. So you come in, the vehicles, social hub, the food hub. Here we have some technology, communications and technology. The computer hub. At some point, what is this? Not sure what this is.
Marhaban.
Can't read it. And then back here, there's the gun guy. He's the armory. I think he needs more boxes of guns. Are these his? Is this his stock? I would kind of expect them to have more guns. Because, I mean, this is dangerous out here, right? There's the raids, as I said. There's gangs, there's rival nomads. So they do get into combat quite a lot. The gun guy, I think he needs a bigger stock. He needs more boxes. Maybe there's somewhere else. So our own tent is here. Because in the story you can join the Aldecaldos. Or at least they adopt you. So these are the habitation tents, I suppose. Interesting, the ground. There's no covering on the ground, except a few rugs. And the tent is just tarp, right? Plastic fabric. More trucks out here. Is that more water? And then round the back, we have some guards, although he's not really looking out, he's just reading, this guy. Another guard tower at the back. Although given how many enemies these guys have, I'm surprised they don't have more guard towers and more people on duty. I'm not sure what that is. These are cargo trucks, I suppose. What's the cargo? Can't tell. So there's a door here. Maybe it's a room. Maybe it's a room. Can't tell what's inside. That's a communications tower. I mean, the nomads don't carry this around. This is built in place. I think they just took over this thing. And then this truck is the command truck. Isn't this cool? We have the Ripper Dog, so he's in the cybernetics. And then we have computers. This is the command center. Oh, very cool. So the nomads, they have all their gear and they work out of these trucks. And then they set up camp, they gather around the campfire. Cars out front, food, and then the habitation stuff. Yeah, nomad camp. So it looks decent. It looks decent. As I said, I'm surprised they don't have more defenses. But thinking about nomads and the nomadic lifestyle, right? Let's look at real-world nomads. Real-world nomadic architecture. Alright, in Wikipedia, so the yurt. So the Mongolians, not just the Mongolians, but also all the way to into the Middle East, we have these yurts. These are traditional Mongolian style yurts. And I want to talk about the construction methods, right? Oh, look at these things. Yeah. Tents. So this is how they put them together, right? First of all, the walls, these things fold up. So they pack up into something very compact. You unfold them and they become the walls of the tent. And then you set up the central bit and you start putting in the rafters, right? There's all the rafters in place. It's just sticks, right? Just straight sticks from the walls to the central dome. And then on top of that, they put a thin fabric layer. So that's the inner fabric layer. On top of the inner fabric layer, they put the felt. The felt is insulation. So this keeps the building warm, and I guess it also keeps it cool during the day as well. So this is insulation. And then over the insulation, they have the waterproofing and the windproofing. So there's 3 layers of fabric. Each layer serves a different purpose, right? And then you tie it all down so it doesn't blow away in the wind. That's important. It gets windy out here. And there it is. Finished. You weigh down the edges with the rocks. You put the door in. And there it is. Insulated yurt for you to live in. Very clever. Very clever. And if we compare this, actually, if we compare this with the tents in the game, this is much more clever than what's in the game. This makes the Aldecaldos look like amateurs, to be honest. I mean, see, this is the value of researching real-world architecture, because you can make these tents so much better. These tents are so thin. We're in California, okay. It's in the desert, okay, you might think, oh, the Californian desert must be hot. No, deserts get cold at night. Even in California, deserts do get cold at night. So you gotta wonder, is there enough insulation here? It doesn't have to be felt insulation, but maybe there should be insulation. Maybe this should be more than one layer, right? It is just plastic. It should be maybe 3 layers. There should be like a thermal layer, probably like foil, a thermal foil insulation layer, and then like a waterproofing and windproofing layer. And then outside, this is not weighted down to the ground. Look at it. It's not tied to the ground. So if a strong wind blows through here, the whole thing gets blown away. Like, it's propped up, but not tied down. I mean, if you've been camping, you know that you need to tie your tents down. Right? You need compression and tension, right? So like, once you do some research and you come back into the game, you realize, well, it's missing some things, isn't it? This could be more complete. This could be more interesting than what it is. Yeah, no, like it's not weighted down at all. Whereas, you know, I don't know if you've been camping in the real world, but you look up like real world camping, you have to tie down the tents. And ideally you have more layers and more insulation. So this kind of tent, really, if you're like staying here for like a weekend, maybe you can put up with this. Like you go camping for like one night, okay. But you know, like professional nomads, like the Mongolians, they spend their whole lives like in tents. I mean, it's pretty intense. And so, like their tents are proper dwellings. They're proper mobile houses. They're not just a piece of fabric over a frame, as we saw. There's like 3 layers with insulation over a frame that you can put up and take down very quickly. But it gives you a lot of space on the inside. And like the yurts are bigger than this, so it gives you more space and it's more insulated. So it's just a better house, right? But it's still exactly as mobile as this. You can just pack it up and move it away, just the same. So it's a, you know, when you look at it, okay, now you think about it, hey, this is less advanced than Mongolians, man. And the Mongolians have been doing that for hundreds of years. They're not even using future technology or anything, right? So these Aldecaldos, you need to step up your game, you guys. And the other thing about defenses, because if we talked about, there's a lot of violence out here in the Badlands. So wagon forts is a very common idea. Is you take your wagons and you build a circle around your camp, and that gives you a makeshift fortification, right? It's not great, but it gives you some defenses. What's going on here? Not sure what's going on there. So again, when you go back in the game and you look at their fort, well, not their fort, their camp, like the Aldecaldo camp, the sleeping tents are out on the edge. There's a big empty space in the middle, and then there's like this thing. So you like, first of all, I think they need more trucks. And then if they had more trucks, it would make more sense if they circle the camp with the trucks. Wouldn't it make more sense? It would make more sense, wouldn't it? Because a lot of this, it's okay, like there's one watchtower at the back, there's one watchtower at the front, and that's it. That's all the defenses they have. This is so exposed. Like the guy sleeping here, it's just fabric, right? He can just get shot. I mean, there's like one truck there, like there's nowhere near enough defenses. Oops, fell down. I mean, like there's some trucks around the side, but a lot of this is very exposed, right? So again, like all these ideas about how nomads can live, how they can defend themselves, what kind of tents they should have. I think a little bit more could be done here, in my opinion. Just like do a bit more research about how real-world nomads live. And you can make this camp a lot cooler, right? Imagine you walk in here, the thing's like a makeshift fortress, and the tents are super high-tech with multiple layers, and you're like, wow, these guys are so professional, they know exactly what they're doing. Like, you want it to be cool, man. You want to just look at it and you think, wow, these guys are, you know, they're smarter than me. You want to feel that way. But at the moment, they seem kind of amateur if you think about it. Okay. Let's get back. This has been a long video. That's okay. Let me get back to the road. There is one last thing, but it's quite far away. Let us drive. Gonna have to drive a long way. Look at that in the distance. Clouds on the mountains. It's quite good, isn't it? Man, somebody spent time making those clouds. Somebody spent time on this horizon. I respect this. Like, it's beautiful out here. Giant trash barge on the mountain. It's so funny. It's funny every time. Like, it's so over the top, right? A trash barge just crashed and dropped all the rubbish. Just threw all the rubbish on the ground. Unbelievable. Like, it's so insane. Very funny. Just completely destroyed the whole district of Rancho Coronado. And they don't even care, right? Okay, how do I get to where I want to go? I need to skip this junction. And I think skip the next junction? Skip this one? And then the next one, I think this is where I'm going. The next one, we go this way, I think. I might be wrong. I might be completely wrong. Oh wait, I might be completely wrong. Hold on, let me check the map. I need to... I whiffed it. I completely whiffed it. I need to go up there. Yeah, no, I completely whiffed it. I need to go up there. I need to go that way. That on-ramp is where I need to go. Unbelievable. Alright, so I need to skip this one. The next one, we take the off-ramp. On-ramp. Alright, onto this one. We haven't been onto the highways very much, huh? So there's like big highways around the city as well. Completely over-engineered, but it looks cool. Like, why does it have a roof? When's the last time you went on a highway with a roof on it, right? The roof is completely redundant, but it looks awesome. It looks extremely cyberpunk. And like these things, they don't do anything, but it looks cool. It's the rule of cool, baby. We are staying here, right? I don't know where I'm going. The freeway does go around in a loop, so you can just keep driving around and around if you wanted to. Okay, so this part is super confusing. I don't know where I'm going. I'm just gonna take an off-ramp and see what happens. I think I want to do this. Here? Right, going to north side. We are going to the north of the city. North of north side. Amazing. I think I went the right way. Wow, I went the right way.
You want your piece from me?
My bad. My bad, didn't mean to do that.
All units in the area. Criminal activity reported in Watson.
Roger. Probably some cyber psycho again, but I'll handle it. Say, any update on my overtime bonus?
I didn't want to come here
All
actually. I
units
want to
in
go the other
area,
way.
order has
But this
been
is also fine.
restored.
Let me
All
follow
units
this road.
instructed to return to patrol.
I guess it's cool that we're seeing things I didn't cover in the previous videos. Not that there's much going on back here. So we're coming to these oil fields to the north of the city. Look at those. These oil pumps. I'm going the wrong way. Alright, so I need to turn right. Coming in here. And then turning right. And we're leaving north side, going north. We can't go too far this way, but we can come to this oil field. Which, if you think about it, why is there an oil field? This is the year 2077. And the oil is gone, right? There's not enough oil in the ground anymore. So this oil field does not make sense, even within the context of the story in the game, right? There shouldn't be oil left in North America. And the pumps aren't moving. Look at that. The pumps aren't moving, so they're not actually pumping oil, I don't think. It's a derelict oil field where they just left all the pumps lying around. Again, the pumps are money. And the wells, like, that's all money. In the real world, you would like dismantle all of this and ship it away and take it somewhere else. So this is completely anachronistic. There's no way there's an oil field out here in the year 2077. But for those of you who know your oil history, let me get over to Wikipedia. There is the Los Angeles City oil field. So this is super cool. There was an oil field right in the middle of Los Angeles, just north of downtown LA. So this is LA. The oil field was right there. There was oil right underneath LA. So at some point, discovered in 1890, and then the peak year was 1901. It's still active, but only one oil well is still pumping. And it produces 3.5 barrels per day. Oh, so only one pump is still pumping, so it's not like completely dry, but it's almost completely dry. So around the year 1901, this place was just pumping oil, right? In the middle of LA. Isn't that crazy? It looked like this. So this exactly how it is in the game. It's just a whole bunch of wells. They didn't have pumps back then, but it's just a whole bunch of wells right next to the city. So I guess this is what, like this is what the game references. Look at this. People are living there, and there's just oil wells right next to the houses. It's just somebody just put an oil well right next to your house. Crazy. They discovered oil underneath the city, and so they just pumped it. Madness. Absolute madness. So the oil field in the game, as we said, there's no way it's there. But it's a sort of a throwback, right? It's an anachronistic throwback to a period in American history where oil was just everywhere and you just pumped oil underground. And there's something really dystopian about this, right? Putting this in a dystopian future of Cyberpunk, kind of like it kind of fits the idea that you would just, you know, for the sake of profit and money, you just covered, like there used to be a beautiful landscape, but you just destroyed the beautiful landscape by putting all these pumps on it and then spilling oil everywhere. You come out here, like, oh, this is oil soaking the ground. Look at that. Oh my god. Oh my, what is it? Oh my god. So you just like destroy the landscape for the sake of profit. And then with the oil's all gone. Oh wait, I'm not in the game yet, hold on. Alright, back in the game. Like there's like oil slicks everywhere. Like, oh my god, what's going on? You just destroyed the landscape for the sake of profit. And then when the money runs out, you just up and leave, and just leave all this junk lying around, and the landscape remains destroyed. So this is the hyper-capitalist dystopian future of Cyberpunk. It's just a whole lot of trash. Like once all the money is gone, like they leave it behind the trash, and the landscape is destroyed. So that's the story they want to tell. Does it really make sense? Probably no, because it's worth money. Like somebody would pick it up and take it away and sell it for money. So probably not really logical, but the idea of it, right, is very compelling. The idea that these megacores would destroy the whole landscape for the sake of profit. And of course, like the rubbish dump, it just goes on as far as the eye can see, right? It just goes on and on and on. So, oh my god, what a disaster. What a hellscape. Industrial hellscape. Amazing. Like, what is this stuff? Like, the oil is just soaked in the ground and everything's disgusting? It's pretty great, right? Okay, so that's the oil field. Not very sensible, but I get what they're saying. I get what they're trying to tell us. That's the end of our tour around the Badlands. It's longer than I thought it would be, but we covered a lot of ground. And it was honestly quite interesting seeing all those places. In the next video, I want to focus specifically on the mega buildings. So the mega buildings, remember these things, right? These towers that are spread out throughout the city and they follow the same standardized plan. So next video, I'm going to talk about the mega buildings and some of the concepts around like housing, public housing, and like big mass housing. And then the video after that, we go visit the apartments that we can own in the game, and then that'll be the end of the series. Alright, 2 more videos. See you next time, where we talk about the mega buildings.